which is a tier 9 giant basilisk. Tier 9 pets. So I'll pull up my build really quick. Um, there's nothing. So it gets the statuses are so high, 47, 27. That's part of that's coming from my sword, which I got from the Kerberos raid last month. Let's swap this out for, we'll just say this. So it still has a really high attack chance, 40%. Spell chance is not great. The big thing here is originally when I was looking at this pet potentially being viable, I was looking at the calculator and it has the giant basilisk at 4411, and I'm actually one level higher than this now. So 4432, I'm not sure if it got a nerf. This is with nothing extra. You could throw 2 charms in there, um, and some other stuff if you have stuff specifically for pets. But this is, it's interesting. I'm not sure if maybe it's just a tweak, in the spreadsheet, but I originally saw this 4400 looked really high. So if the Basilisk got a nerf, unfortunately, it may have gotten a nerf from its attack. It's really not viable at tier 9. I'd rather roll with, honestly, either of the 2 tier 8 pets I have at the moment. I'll eventually try to get more and compare it, but the Basilisk is not even close to worth the 1 million price tag right now with that attack power. It's super weak. It just does not do, even in raiding, I was kind of hoping it would be maybe a decent raid boss. There's only like even three monsters, creatures, anything in the game that are completely immune to attack. And there's a golem, a green and black. I believe it's a tier 8 golem. Uh, there is one of the mimics is also immune to it. I can't remember which one, and then I think there's one other creature that's immune. So I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit viable, but it's really not. We can jump in here to this tier 9 Naganin here. I'm assuming that's how you say that. So we'll just throw up a ward. I have, obviously, I mean, he hits decently. The problem is it's just not hard enough. Like, you'll get pretty much any other pet at this tier is going to do better. I'm going to get dropped really quick, most likely. Obviously, that one hurt because I didn't have a ward up, but I have not. The nag is pretty annoying too because he throws a lot of statuses on you. And again, it's like for how much damage he does and offers almost nothing else behind it. It's just not worth the price tag. And I wasn't overly trying, but even if I jump in here with the Crimson Gazer and I don't try and I don't do a whole lot to manage it, I could get anywhere from 50k depending on how hard I get hit and how many the attacks the Gazer does, because this Naganin is immune to some of them. I could still get 300k. So let's go and try this out in the arena. Whew. Okay, yeah, I'm already in big trouble. This Gazer is gonna drop me quick. That is the one thing more than anything. Yeah, almost one shot me. So there's just no competition. Maybe the gazer will miss. Ooh, okay. That was a little surprising. Hmm, that hit pretty hard actually. I still think the gazer is better. Wow. What is the setup? That is surprisingly effective. So, all right, I stand corrected. That is actually not bad. I think the big problem is when he does his base attacks, they're just super weak. So if you get some tri cuts or quad cuts off, like I was getting with him, it's pretty effective. This one should be. So that was a quad cut, and he dropped him pretty quick. All right, let's. That was a quad cut. Wow. But the gazer dropped me. Ward. So again, so you saw that when he attacked, when he does his base attack, it's really weak. And I was running into a situation where he did it on a regular basis. Um, it just, I still don't think it's worth the price tag at this tier. Let's see. Especially a lot of these guys, a lot of the ones I'm going up against right now don't are not popping ward. So that's you're gonna run it. That hit hard. This is more of what I was expecting. I might have got lucky, and his attacks are just the gazer. Like you save a couple hundred extra thousand, and the gazer. The worst case you're gonna have to worry about is maybe not dropping them in one turn, or maybe a miss or immune. But normally the gazer is a lot quicker than this. Again, if the basilisk is not hitting them, or this is where you're gonna run into it. Once they pop defenses and their ward, they're gonna outshoot you most of the time. Put my ward back up. I'm pretty beefy, and he doesn't have the same tier pet I do, but he's still hitting me pretty hard. All right, so I mean, it has its use. It's definitely not a good raiding pet. It's actually raiding. It is way worse than the gazer, and I hate raiding with the gazer. Let's throw this back on. I absolutely despise raiding with the gazer. I get nothing. Um, I honestly prefer to raid with my Phoenix, but again, the problem is the Phoenix was, I believe, January's raid boss, so it only appears in January. Not every If you didn't get it in January, you got to wait a year to get it. Assuming, again, next year the Phoenix is in January again. So I'll pull out the Gazer really quick just to compare these two. Oops, wrong place. There we go. Arena. All right, I'm gonna throw Ward. And this guy, see, this is one shot. The Gazer is one shotting. Honestly, the Gazer is amazing for everything, pretty much everything, with the exception of raiding. I hate raiding with him. And all these guys who have anybody who has pet that's gonna throw damage or dragon damage at me is just at a loss. It's see this is where so the gazer is missing or it's not doing any damage. Let's see, so 49, he's so again, I mean, it's hit or miss, and I threw a lot of times, so he's immune, I'm immune. The Gazer's going to struggle against some of those Omnimancers who uh, focus mostly on magical defense, resistance, one shot. So, and he was resistant. He had a resistance to that attack, which was Cataclysm 2. So he had a resistance and he still got one shot. Let me go back to the Basilisk here. He has some use, like he's not completely. If you're struggling to, if you don't have a bunch of bestiaries and you can't get some of these rare pets to spawn, you then I and you want to go with the Basilisk, you can get by outside of raiding. Like I wouldn't raid with him. I would probably, depending on what tier 8 pets you have, I might run with a tier 8 pet. That's the biggest thing is his attack being so high does nothing for you. I don't want him to throw his attacks because they're so weak. If he throws the honestly, what I would like to it would be cool if they reworked it a little bit so that he instead of it being his attack being so high, I went to the wrong. I would like to see maybe his spell chance come up a little bit, 27%, and that's with my sword. I get an extra 7% for my sword, so he can throw it out pretty often. And actually, having the attack chance up so high actually might be hurting me. He's more likely to throw that attack versus the tri-cut or quad cut. It's hard, like 50%, it's almost a 50 half time he's going to throw that out. So maybe that's my problem. But again, you're going to run into that regardless. And his attack is so low that it's basically like a third. It's a third of the tri cut or quad cut, or a third or a fourth. He just. I think it would be nice to see that attack come back up. So if the attack was at 4,400 and maybe you dropped the spell chance a little bit to maybe 1% to kind of even it out a little bit, I think would be nice with having an attack chance that high. Let's see about let's check it out against one of these mobs. Tier 9 Immortal. I actually hate fighting these guys. They're kind of a pain in the ass. And he hit him pretty hard. I mean, well, again, I think that's me getting a little lucky because normally he's going to throw that attack. A lot of times he throws his attack like that. He attacked and it wasn't a lot. He threw a quad cut. Maybe I was getting unlucky before because he's thrown try and quad cut a lot more than when I was initially using it. Just know, like, okay, so there's a super weak attack, 2000. That was his attack. And if he's throwing it, if he has a 50% chance to throw it, it's like my lunge. I have a 50% chance to crit, and you'll go through. The probability is just not great because you're going to go through streaks where he's not doing anything because of it, and you're going to struggle and get frustrated. I probably, if I was raiding and I didn't have any other pets, at tier 9, I'd probably use the Pale Dragon or the Great Yeti. The Great Yeti is not going to attack very often, but he will give you a bunch of defense and defensive buffs. The Pale Dragon's going to heal you from a lot of stuff, and I would create a build around one of my attacks, one way or another. All right, let's bring out the Gazer. Well, I mean, that's really what it is I'm comparing him to the Gazer because for only another 500,000, um, I believe, or maybe 750,000, you can get the Gazer, and he's definitely more viable. Like, I mean, that's the build everybody goes to, is is the Gazer at tier 9 once you can get him. So I attacked. Let's see. Ward, man, he is throwing Tricup up a lot. Maybe I'll give him another shot. I didn't think he was a big deal, but I'll give him. Well, actually, you know what I'll do after this fight? See, that was a quad cut, and man, I know he's resistance. He probably has a resistance to it, but it just. I feel like it should be. It should drop something that trivial. Here we go. We will go and test him out against Polly. So I believe I hit 514,000. Ooh, this is with so this month you can get the pet Naganine. So the Nag pet I was able to do 514,000. I need to tweak my build a little bit to utilize it a little bit more, but I don't think we're gonna even get close with that pet. Oh, is it gonna crash here? There we go. All right, so I'll go through all the normal motions of actually setting up. So already it's been what, 3 or 4 turns, and the Basilisk has not done much of anything. And that was his attack for just under 4K. So if you're gonna, and that's kind of what I'm doing a little bit right now, is I'm judging him on its ability. Worst case scenario, you might come up against some beefier, high level tier or tier 9 or tier 10 guys in the world. Even some of the bosses, the tier 9 bosses, he's not, especially Mammon, he's just not going to do enough, and it's going to hurt a lot. That's kind of how I judge. I'm kind of over judging some of these classes, but let's see. Let's get some more ward. Got all my buffs I want. Well, my build for this is different from what I had in the world. Let's see. So assuming that that crit helps, hopefully, I'm hoping that that helps maybe his attack crit a little bit more. So quad cut is nice. I mean, that quad cut was 3 to 4K each one of them. I mean, you're looking at probably 14,000, but I can get that easy with the gazer almost every single turn. I just have to manage the dots, and that's why, and the status ailments. All right, well, so that attack, and that is what really hurts is when he just does an attack. I should have used transference too. Ah, crap, my ward's gone. Damn it. I miss my ward. I do that sometimes. Alright, let's go with ward. My ward turns up, and then I will use so I'm gonna use a Panacea to see how long I can stay in here and how much damage I can get. Alright, so, crap. Well, that hurt. If I could get him to use tri-cut and quad cut on a regular basis, more than any of those attacks, like for sure, 100%, this would be an amazingly, honestly, viable pet at this tier. I think his price tag, I guess his price tag isn't super high. It's just hard to, crap, and this is not going over well. He just doesn't offer as much as I think I would like. If he hit just a little bit harder, then it would be fine. He, you know what? I mean, I'm not getting super unlucky at the moment, so he might be on par with, because managing, see, like 200,000, I guess is pretty close to the Gazer. So I guess I'm a little wrong. He is viable. He's usable in tier 9, probably close to the same. The only reason I'm going to say he's close to the same level as the Crimson Gazer is because in a raid, so I wish there was a gauntlet close. I don't know that. I guess I'll try. I normally only do bosses, so let's see if I can, how well he does here. The Gazer is quite difficult. He will drop most of these things in one shot. But if you come, like, it gets pretty tough if he misses. And I think this is where the Basilisk might actually suffer a lot. Ooh, I don't think I have the right setup actually for this. I shouldn't get defensive magic down. Crap. So the Gazer would have already knocked him out. Um, Again, this is why I don't like, I really struggle to say he's same par with the Gazer, is because when I've been getting lucky, when he hits those attacks over and over and you get unlucky enough to have that, you're gonna have a bad day. Keep my ward up. Yep, now he's throwing attacks out, and his attacks are just so weak. Like I think his base attack should be a great deal stronger. If he throws those tri cuts out or quad cuts, it's fine. Or if he misses, it hurts a lot too, especially against some of these tougher enemies where the Gazer can still drop them in one shot. Oh, I forgot Mimic's Mischief. Alright, so I need a couple more ward turns. I mean, he's hitting pretty good. All right, let's try to get a crit to get my health and ward back. Uh, Dang, man. Maybe I must have been unlucky first. We'll see. I need that crit though. He's a little less active than the Crimson Gazer, so the Crimson Gazer is going to be a little bit more active, but he has um all of them are elemental attacks. Hoo this this is even tough for the Gazer for me and my no, could probably get through it, but we'll see what happens here. This is gonna hurt. Oh my gosh, that hurt. Okay, gotta go with transference. One time, see, he's doing some damage though. I will say that he put some damage on it, but if the Gazer had used Cataclysm 2 against it, it would have been either immune or done almost no damage. So again, it's hit or miss. He's pretty good. Actually, so just going through this, I didn't think it was gonna be that good. Uh, it's not bad. I guess my initial test run and trial was a little off base. Let's try it. So that was against some bosses. I am not a fan. I think I could do better. Let's switch over the Gazer. So I mean, that's kind of the big comparison. I'm gonna jump into a different raid just to show you don't have to deal with. Let's hit. Let's just hit the King Arthas because I'll be able to show the status effects. So now I'm frozen. So this status effect is already a huge pain in my butt. And that's why potentially, but he's hitting for on average somewhere between what? So low end if they have a resistance like 7K, all the way up to if they have a weakness like 40, the Gazer can hit for. I have dot on me now, but that's not going to stop me, so I can actually go through my progressions. Paralyze will stop me from my progressions. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay, and now, so very quickly, this is the biggest hindrance on the Gazer. I have rot, I'm paralyzed, and I'm frozen all within 3 turns. And this is what makes the Gazer just, he hits like a truck, but absolutely destroys your ability to go through a setup progression. And even if you get it, you still have to fight. This is a lower tier guy, so it's not even like that big of a deal. But managing your ward and your health, again, I don't have the best gear at this tier yet. It can be very difficult to manage the way you would like to. See, he hit for 35K on that turn. Let's see. Oh, I need to run Wyron speed again, see if I can get that magic up. 23K there. So he hits hard, and I could actually probably go for a long time. But if you're unlucky enough to be able to hit a ward or a transference or even a lunge at the right time because of paralyzed and frozen, you will be dropped very quickly. I don't think that I have a. I mean, I could try against a Morgan. Actually, he's actually the only pet I use against a Morgan because I know I'm gonna get dropped, but he will do more damage than anybody else. So if he doesn't miss like that, so let's see. He's not doing that much, but anybody else I brought in here would do almost nothing. And he's very active too. But again, you can see the dots piling up, and the dot and the status is there. If you can manage those well, and your items will not stop those from your pet. It stops it from everywhere else, but it won't stop it from the pet. I had to wait for an hour for those other ones to come back. For raiding, the when I'm actually gonna raid, the only pet I use is the Phoenix. I don't get as much damage every hit as I do with the Gazer, but I can sustain for a long time, eclipsing any of the damage that the Gazer can put out. So, really, I mean, the Basilisk is not horrible, but if you get unlucky and he's just throwing out attacks for a long period of time, just it's kind of I guess his Achilles heel. But if you get lucky enough and he's throwing tri cuts and quad cuts on a regular basis, he can throw out quite a bit of damage. But if you look at this, so he has a 38% chance to do nothing. So Bahamut Tamer, the Basilisk, I'm running a main hand item. So my main hand item allows it so that it's closer to 25% of no, it's 28% no action. But again, that is down 30, so 10%. If you don't have, and I got that weapon from the Kerberos last month. If you did not get a weapon from Kerberos that gives you an extra 7%, that is what you're going to be looking at from the Basilisk. I mean, give or take a few percentages, nothing is perfect. Um, Unless you get some charms, so you can get some Dragoon charms, you can get it down to 32%. So it's really looking at when you're looking at the probability for him to miss and when he misses versus the damage output he's doing, it's still really hard to recommend this pet. If he throws out two or three attacks in a row, which is possible, and then he misses, you're looking at somewhere between six and on the high side, maybe 20,000 damage in a 4 turn span when your pet, like the whole point of the tamer and Bahamut is around your pet. That's horrible because the gazer can get you that in 1 turn. Or yeah, I mean he can drop it in 1 turn for most things. So even with the dots and the status ailments that the gazer throws on you and having to manage that, it's less frustrating than hoping that the basilisk will throw stuff out. He can be used. He's not the worst pet that I've seen or I've played with. I I would save my Orn if you have not gone out and got the farmed out the quest line for the Band of Gods, which I also more recently got so I could get the Orn. Go out and farm the Orn to get both the basilisk and the Naganin for this month. So that's this month's pet. Uh, I definitely go get that. It helps so much. Surprisingly, I didn't think it was going to be that big a deal, but I have been getting orange hand over fist just so much. I don't know. I guess let's hit this boss, a world boss here, and see how well he does. Barrier. So going through my progressions, he didn't attack, and then he just missed. This is what I would do normally, and he throws an attack out and hits for less than 2,000. The Basilisk would have already dropped him, for sure. without even thinking. There you go. There's another attack. So this is more what I was seeing before is miss attack, miss attack. I wasn't seeing, and this is you're gonna go through phases like you would with your throwing out a lunge where I'm critting, I'm not critting, I'm missing, and then he throws out a quad cut there or a tri cut. And that's why like when he's on, and you can do a decent amount. I think some of the early raids I was hitting with him, I was lucky to hit 50K at tier 9. And then at tier 9, if you jump into something and because you have a bad run, you're only getting 50K, like it's a hard price tag to sell. And then I mean on the flip side, I got 100 or a little over 200K with him. Um, Honestly, if you're grinding this month for Orn, I would save it, and I would try to find the Naganine. I haven't tested it out too much as of late, um, but it's pretty good. Oh, dang. Huh. My thing says Outriders, but it's not Outriders. I wonder if I can change it yet. We are doing Orna right now, not Outriders. Yeah, we'll just do pets. Um, I wonder if. Oh, here we go. Anyway, wow, that's funny. I wonder if anybody